So now I'm going to go through and put all the wheels on. Those two doofuses over there. Hey!
We're having a meeting of the minds over here. Notice I left one out.
Sounds like... Oh man, they're just comedians. Gosh. Today, went and got my new planer yesterday. We got a lot of stuff to do to this thing. I've got some Martin row cleaners I need to put on. I've got precision planing clean sweep I need to put on. But thankfully, I say thankfully, I didn't really want it to rain, turn cold. It was 72 degrees yesterday, but it did rain last night, and now it's cold. So we're gonna be in the shop probably for most of the week. So that will allow us to hopefully get most of this done. Okay, we've gone through and tightened all of the row cleaner brackets. Like I said, these are Martin Till row cleaners with parallel linkage, so they'll slide up and down like that. We've got precision planing clean sweep air cylinders to throw on. I'll show you guys that in a minute. Here's a completed one, what they look like. I don't have the air cylinder on yet. So those would be going in there, and I'll be able to control them up and down from the cab. Oh man, they're heavy now. So now I'm going to go through and put all the wheels on, and those two doofuses over there. Hey!
We're having a meeting of the minds over here. Notice I left one out.
Sounds like... Oh man, they're just comedians. Gosh. Sounds like you're talking about women. So we're gonna throw on those air cylinders right now. And the wheels. Here's what these wheels look like.
Got a Ninja Star Factory.
A Ninja Star Factory. That's about what it looks like. I did tear my shirt on one already, so we'll throw all these on. And here's a clean sweep cylinders. Give us a plunge there, Matthew. So we'll hook air lines up. I have to mount an air compressor on top of the planer. We got lots to do still.
Yeah, it won't take that long.
They're identical. Do you believe it?
Yeah, we didn't plan the matching green sweatshirts or the matching tan pants.
You don't want to
pants.
Oh boy. So anyway,
I had to change those out.
we'll keep going. Okay, we got all of the row cleaners put on and the clean sweep air cylinders mounted. So all we've got left to do is to run all the air lines and get the air compressor mounted. This is all new to me, so we're not really sure what we're doing on that. So we will hopefully do that tomorrow, or get started on it anyway. But as you can see, we got all the row cleaners mounted. Hopefully they're gonna work pretty nice. You can see we've got the air cylinder right there. There's the bottom of it. There's two air fittings in there that we'll have to hook hoses up to and run up on top of the toolbar. I'll explain exactly what these row cleaners do. Sometimes you'll have clods or chunks or weeds or corn stalks, things in the way that won't necessarily give it a very nice seed bed. So these things will spin. You can set these as deep as you want, as shallow as you want, run them right on top of the ground. We're 100% conventional till, which means we work all of our ground before we plant. So the only thing these are really going to serve purpose is to kick out any big chunks or clods or anything to make the row unit ride smoother. So these will spin. This then here is your gauge wheel. This is really what sets your depth of how deep you want your seed to go. These are your disc openers. There's 2 of them. Your V openers. This will make a little V trench. And the seed tube, or the speed tube, is back there behind there, dropping the seed in there. Dad and Jonathan put the new Keaton seed firmers on. These are the quick attach seed firmers, and for those who don't know, as the seed drops into the trench, before the trench is closed with these closing wheels, this seed firmer, the seed will drop in right ahead of the seed firmer, and this runs right on top of the seed and firms it down into the seed trench. That way it has good seed to soil contact for good germination. Now with traveling high speeds, the row unit itself will want to almost ride up out of the ground and will not keep consistent seed depth. So instead of using spring down pressure for the row unit or an airbag, this has hydraulic down pressure, which basically every high-speed planter has this. So hydraulic cylinder here makes 10 adjustments every second per row individually. There's a sensor, a load link sensor right there, if you can see that little gray thing. When the gauge wheels pull up against that, that senses how much pressure is on that, and you can set a certain amount of margin or down pressure on your monitor. And if it's outside that range, either above or below, the hydraulic cylinder will either lift or put pressure down to get that uniform seed depth. So, a lot going on. I hope it works this year. Tomorrow, we will do more planter upgrades. See you guys tomorrow. Next morning, gonna continue working on the planter, probably get the air compressor mounted for the clean sweep, row cleaner adjustment. Probably gonna put the air compressor right up here on top of this big hydraulic pump that runs the whole planter. Have to run the air lines. We will have to probably unfold the planter to get all those air lines run correctly, and that way they have to make sure they're cut to the right length and things like that. So probably work on that a little bit. I've got a rat's nest of wires and cables and hoses that I need to have done up much nicer and neater. I'm pretty particular and fussy when it comes to things like that, so I'll probably spend some time on that. And then I don't know if I'll work on it today, maybe, are these Fender kits. What I thought was going to be a 1 to 2 hour project, I spent a whole day and partial of another one trying to get these things to work right. And what had happened, I got these fenders right here, these big ones, these big wide ones. Those are supposed to be for a fat single tire and not duals. And so they're way too wide, and the dual ends up getting into it whenever you turn. So I'm going to keep the brackets, and then I got these replacement fenders that are more narrow, and so they should work. So I'm going to have to fab something up on these brackets because they're not the right brackets, but they will work. Very expensive if you part them out individually. Just this bracket is $850 a piece for each side, so wasn't going to spend money doing that. Get those done, and got to get monitors and stuff situated in the cab, so lots to do still. Won't get it all done today. It is rainy and nasty out. But anyway, my brother should be here in a little bit. We'll keep chugging along. No, these aren't pizzas. Let me show you what these are. These are the corn discs. I'm only going to be planting corn with this planter this year, so this was the only type of crop disc that I needed. Each little seed, corn seed, will be held into each one of these slots with vacuum pressure. And on this high-speed planter, it's different than
standard planters, it takes a little brush and knocks the seed out of each little slot. So I'll put these in. There's 16 of them. This is also a little ejector wheel. I'll show you how that goes together. There's a lot going on these planters. It looks like a space shuttle with the different hoses, wires, connectors. Nothing like what my granddad used to run, that's for sure. I wish he was still here. He'd be blown away by all the technology, but I'll kind of go over one of these row units here and explain to you guys how I believe that it works. This is new technology to me, being a high-speed planter, but all in all, we're taking seed from the tank, getting it to the ground. So we'll start off with these tanks up here. You fill each one of these tanks with seed, corn or beans. In this case, it's going to be corn. Each tank holds 60 units apiece. Air pressure from this entrainer, it's called, basically sits there and bubbles up the air. The air pressure is set just perfect to not blow it out of the tube too fast, but yet there's enough to fill the tube to go to each row unit. So corn seed will come through these tubes. There's 16 tubes. Each tube goes to a row unit right here. Seed will then fill the row unit right down in here. Doesn't hold very much at all. Let's go ahead and pop this up here. Here we go. You've got two tubes coming into your row unit. Air seed delivery and then vacuum. Of course, the air seed delivery is just that, delivers the seed. The vacuum is what creates suction, like I was saying. On the back side, all those little holes, there's suction against those little holes, which holds the seed up against the plate. That's how you get your singulation, so you get a perfect drop every 5 to 7 inches. 2 electric connectors to remove. This is new to me, so I don't know exactly how this works. Press this tab. First you gotta undo the vacuum hose. There's about 15 to 20 pounds of pressure, vacuum pressure, so not a lot. That holds the seed on there. Flip that off. Right here's the vacuum seal, all the way around. So it has a continuous seal. Get your corn plate. Slide that little retention clip up. Oh, I forgot one step. Ejector wheel. This goes, where's this go? This goes right here. Just like that. All that does is, as this wheel is going around, this little ejector wheel, it's not enough to knock the corn seed out, but it's enough to knock any debris that gets stuck in there. Because if you had a piece of dirt or a little pebble or something, it'd knock that out, because otherwise you would have a skip while you're planting. It snaps in there just like that. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and take this unit out. So that's very similar, that corn plate, of how most planters work. After that corn seed goes around, and there would be a small gap on a standard planter that it would lose vacuum, and once it lost vacuum, it would drop into a seed tube, starting right here, and then it would travel all the way down and drop out right up in there. But with this being high speed, the technology they have now, there's these little brushes right there. These little brushes spin simultaneously as the corn disc is spinning. So the corn disc is spinning this way. These little brushes then knock the corn out and drop it into this little conveyor belt, and this conveyor belt takes it all the way down to about 1.5 inches above the seed trench, which makes it highly accurate, especially at high speed. So I'll pull that out and show you guys. 2 more electric fittings. After that, I'm pretty sure it just comes out just like that. So this is what they call a speed tube. John Deere's is a brush, a speed brush. Precision Planting, I think, is very similar to this, but pull that off. Right here's the little conveyor belt, as you can see. These brushes knock the seed out of the corn plate. The seed drops into each one of these little slots. Not each one, I take that back. I'd say every 5 to 6 inches, depending on what your population is. So that corn disc meter will be spinning at a different speed than this, depending on your population. And so this will sit there and spin, knock the corn seed out. There's a little eye right here, there's a little sensor. So that'll sense that there's a seed in there. That'll tell you if you have skips or doubles. The seed will travel down this little conveyor just like that, and it'll pitch it out about 1 inch to 2 inches above the seed trench. Very neat. You can get much more accurate at higher speeds, and that's why they use these. I've never run one of these planters before, so we shall see. A lot of moving parts. Hopefully I don't have any issues. What are you working on here?
Change the oil here. Try not to get my head squished like a watermelon.
Yeah. This is OSHA approved. Let's not tell anybody that. Okay. I'm gonna work on these fenders here. Get these done. I'm no blacksmith or a machinist, so those of you watching this who are, feel free to comment below on what I'm doing wrong. But this is nothing that has to be exact. I'm just drilling and tapping some holes in this frame so I can run some bolts through those plastic fenders. Need to be 9 3/4 from center to center. That is not too bad. Well, finally, after several days of scratching my head and ordering some different parts, finally got the correct mud flaps to work and look somewhat like they're from the factory. So hopefully these will work okay and help protect the tractor from rock chips and mud and everything else. Got the planter unfolded here in the shop. Today we're gonna get the airlines routed and run and hooked up hopefully for the clean sweep air compressor system. Spent most of the day yesterday routing all of these cables and wires and hoses. Took forever. Ran a piece of all thread right down here all the way up to the turn signal, and that keeps all your wires and cables off of your fender and paint so it doesn't scratch them. We've got a couple hoses run for the clean sweep system. Here's a T right here for the up pressure, and it gets chased down and hooks into the cylinder down there at the bottom.
Are you gonna I guess I'll run that over there and then come back down and just make it up anything.
You got to be very careful of where you run these lines for pinch points and stretching, things like that. So it takes a little time to figure out exactly where you're going to run them. Hopefully where we decide to run these, they're going to be okay. This is the down pressure side. I've already run the up pressure side. And then I'll come through here and put zip ties on all of them to bundle them up nicely. So I run the down pressure line. I've routed it down here through the row unit. It goes in right here at the top. You can see that push to connect fitting right there. That's all there is to it. Good morning. Today, more planter work. Got it here in the shop again. A little bit more tractor work to get things finished up. I got my camera kit in for this planter. They come with these from the factory, but they were out of cameras when I ordered the planter, so I couldn't get one on, so they sent me one a little bit later. I put a little scoop shovel up here for those that have bulk fill. Know that sometimes scooping corn around when you get empty or when you're filling up is kind of handy, so we make scoop shovels for our planters and mount them up there on the catwalk. Berkey's Farm Store came out today. I was having a leak with this plug. Well, I thought it was the plug and O-ring. I cleaned it off really well. You guys probably cannot see this. Nah, you won't be able to see it. There's a pinhole. There's a pinhole leak in that weld right there, unfortunately. So I'm waiting to hear back from my dealer on what they want me to do. I really want to get that taken care of. I got the planter and tractor pulled out. I'm pretty much done with it. I'm doing some calibrations on the steering. Since I've got these new GPS components in here, the tractor has never run auto steer before. So I have to do a full auto steer calibration on it, so I'll show you guys how I do that. Well, my dealer and I decided that they're gonna check on getting me a brand new tank from Kinze. Hopefully it doesn't take very long. I can weld it, I can epoxy it. I don't really want to do either on a brand new planter, so the tank is empty. I'm waiting to hear back from them to see if I can get a tank within the next week, hopefully. Okay, like I said, with these new GPS components, this tractor has never run auto steer, auto guidance, so I have to do several calibrations. Have to do steering sensor, which I've done, D-gain, left and right. I've already done right. We're gonna do left next. P-gain and a roll calibration. I have no idea what any of those mean or what they do. I just know that I'm supposed to do them. So we'll try testing left here. Center steering and start moving in first gear at max RPMs. Okay. Vehicle may turn unpredictably. Okay, it says perform, that was a coarse calibration, perform fine calibration at least 3 times for each side to increase accuracy. Well, here we go. A little tricky when you got the planter hooked on and your driveway is not very big. So we shall see. I need a haircut. It's gross. Next week before Easter. Right side, fine calibration in progress. See, it's turning the tractor just a little bit to the right. Okay. Test left here. I'm not going to back up. We're just going to see if I can get her straight here without running into these vehicles. And test left. Next for the P gain, I believe. You wonder what the green and red lights are on for. Well, the green light is supposed to be on just by itself. The red light is on because there's no hydraulic oil in the tank. Why is there no hydraulic oil in the tank? Well, let's not talk about that. Freaking pinhole in a brand new hydraulic tank on a brand new planter. Nobody can weld perfectly. Hopefully I get another one next week. Okay, we are fully calibrated and running auto steer. down the driveway, no hands. I set a straight line right down the drive, so. This is my first time running RTK. I'm running it cellular, or I'm streaming it cellular through my iPad. So I've got full RTK guidance, which is exciting. Well, just got the tractor and planter parked here in the shed. It's chances of rain again for the next 3 days, so wanted to get inside and out of the shop finally. So appreciate you guys watching. See you in the next video.